Day 6. You're watching Eco, I'm Colonel Failure, and this is the Colonel's Journal for Day 6. As bad company seek to destroy the asteroid, we finally decided to take the step of unifying our economy under something a little bit more robust than the Vargan credit. As you can see from the credit report there, Vargan has infinite cash, while everybody else has scraps, effectively. Can't complain. I'm doing all right. I'm about third richest at the moment. That's not so bad at all. But with the creditor having unlimited funds at his disposal, it always runs a risk of inflating the economy out of control. So we took the decision to create a mint, which we can do now that we've got the necessary research done. You can see we're kind of motoring through this at high speed. So the first objective was to actually find a location that we felt was suitable for a town hall, given that so far we'd been using the mayor's office as part of Vargan's house. Not that he was in any way disreputable with regards to his house. No, I'm totally lost at this point. Wandered so far out of town. I thought maybe the end of this island might be a good place for a town hall, but it was felt that it was a little bit too far away from where everybody lived. It's quite close to my fields, which would have been quite handy. Anyway, we opted to underpin the new coin with copper ingots. Given that they weren't too plentiful and were relatively difficult to manufacture. The downside of this, of course, is going to be that without any inflation or new currency introduced into the marketplace, that unless we can ensure that people are spending their new coins, there may be a problem. At any rate, the entire townsfolk were called together to undertake the project of building a brand new town hall. And the promise of additional coins for everybody who got involved made that quite well attended, in fact. And we finally picked a location that, and in retrospect, was directly across from my island. So stick around and we'll see how that gets put together. It turns out you can accomplish quite a lot in one day, so I thought I'd start out by showing you my new kitchen, with its water wheel outside to power an oven that I'll probably never get round to using, given that it's largely for baking. I fell in the water there. That's something of an occupational hazard when you live on an island. But as you can see, town is really starting to take shape as the different citizens start to specialise a little bit more. But it all comes down to buying quite a lot of stone in order to get this project done. So where the road ends, no, I'm not going to look at it. No, I'm going to go this way. I've actually no idea where I'm going. Oh, that's my house. What's going on there? Oh, I was putting that in my own supply. There's some dead plants. Look, there's a first. That almost never happens. I'm pretty sure that at some point I'll get back to where we're building the town hall. No, I'm messing around with my inventory. I could have sworn that I cut all this out for this speed build. Never mind, here we go. Look, so this is the location for the future town hall. As you can see, we've got quite a lot of dirt already being cleared, if you can make it out while we're moving along at this blistering pace. And the intention is to build a bridge over to Fail Island. That's my house there, with the other bridge going across the water that Tolocran was there kind of standing in front of. But given that I had no building skills to speak of whatsoever, due to my reliance on being the town farmer, I was largely reduced to moving bits of stone around very carefully and occasionally digging out some dirt. Apparently that's all I'm really worth. Feeding people and digging out some dirt is my lot in life. But getting the road built over the top, and as much as the road is built out of stone, and we could have just used stone blocks for it, using actual road means that cart transport is significantly faster. So this is an elevated piece of road that we're building over, given that on Fail Island you've got this rather significant bank. on the way in, and I'm leveling it out here and making sure that that's done so that we can get this bridge built and everything's going to be peachy. Anyway, there was a great deal of debate was taking place during the entirety of this build as to how exactly we were going to underpin this economy. Or rather, how we were going to exchange the rather bounteous Wagen credit for the brand new to be minted fail coin. And the eventual decision was made that we would underpin it with fish. Yeah, I know. Go with me on this, because it's actually quite an ingenious idea. We had only one person within the entire town who had fishing as their key skill, so there was only one person who could generate fish. And the idea was, as you can see, Hawk is currently buying salmon. So what you would initially do is you would go and buy salmon with your Wagen credit, and then you would immediately hop next door and sell the same salmon back to the store for fail coin. And that was how the conversion was done. So it was done on a 1-to-5 ratio, and true to form, everybody in their Natalie-coloured jeans and comfortable shirts and kind of dad beards going on where you've got them. Very sensible haircuts as well. Matching backpacks, pretty much essential. But everyone would queue up in quite a civilized fashion in order to make that currency exchange. Now, at the time, I had about 950 Wagen credit on the go. And obviously the first thing that I was going to need to do after completing my transfer through the medium of fish, in that way that you do, is to set up your store all over again with the new pricing schema. So I deleted my store immediately so that I wouldn't still be charging people in Wagen credit, which obviously they no longer had. And given the 1-to-5 ratio for the new fish-oriented currency, I'd be charging a heinously expensive price. Now, obviously, if you've been following through of this journal series so far, you'll know that I've got no problem with a heinous price of some fashion. But I felt that I'd probably generate a few more sales if I set my prices a little bit more effectively. I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at here. Oh, there we go. Just going to get a bit of cooking on the go before we crack on and go and make the currency exchange. For some reason, it was deemed that I should be towards the back of the queue. Now, this currency comes with its own problems. Given that there is only a finite amount in circulation, it is very, very reliant on people actually spending it. And then, once it's been spent, that whoever was the recipient went out and spent it themselves. All the time, of course, the government, the mayor, because he's always got his eye on an angle, is skimming off some taxation. Now, the discussion that came out of that was that we would institute a universal basic income using this tax to ensure that those at the low end of the economy never found themselves in a position where they didn't have any cash. So getting that cash up and flowing around is the absolutely key part. The good news is that just about everybody on the server is pretty active. So turning up once a day to find, ooh, I've got a bunch of money, meant that you could immediately go shopping to pick up something new. Or at least that was the hope. I actually spent a goodly amount of this time while I was skimming through my recipe book, converting my pricing over to the new fail coin using the Kernel Failure recipe book calculator, which I had previously built in Excel. No, I'm not even joking. I was pricing my foods based on a formula that I'd come up with in Excel to ensure that everything was being priced correctly. So as you can see, you can either buy for 50 Wagen coin, you can buy a salmon, or for 5 you could buy a trout. You basically spend all the money you've got, then sell it back, and what do you know? You are now up and running with the shiny new coin that would ensure that we had a bright prosperity type future. Anyway, with all of my stocks transferred over via the medium of fish, I'm now set up to go and reprice my store, which is going to go and, well, it's going to take a little while, that, because I've got quite a few recipes we make these days. Anyway, I've been Colonel Failure. Subscribe to this journal series to make sure you don't miss out on us defeating the impending doom, and I'm pretty confident that we're going to do so. And chuck a like at this one if you enjoyed the economics of it all, I suppose. Anyway, I'll catch up with you very soon. Thanks for watching. Cheerio.